New issues have arisen today about one of the key players in your inner circle, your Cabinet Secretary, Arthur Sinodinos. The Electoral Commission has accused the New South Wales branch of the Liberal Party of deliberately concealing the identity of major donors to the 2011 state election campaign. Arthur Sinodinos was the finance director and the treasurer of the party in New South Wales at the time. Are you certain that his hands are clean in this matter?
Well, the Arthur Sinodinos has written today to the Election Funding Authority refuting the claims or inferences made in their statement, and I believe that his correspondence will be published, if not by the Election Funding Authority, by the Senator, by Arthur Sinodinos, and there is obviously some issues in question. But can I just say this to you, Tony, very plainly, that as I said earlier today, election donations, political donations, whether they are made to a state division of the Liberal Party or the federal division, should all be disclosed in accordance with law. And all of those donations should be disclosed. Now, this was related to a state election in 2011, and I note that Mike Baird has said precisely the same thing, that all of those donations should be disclosed, and I have no doubt that they will be.
You know that Labor is demanding Senator Sinodinos be sacked or at least stood aside while this matter is investigated. Your response to that?
Well, the Labor Party is always, whenever there's any adverse reflection on any minister, they demand that they stand aside. However, it's interesting, isn't it, that notwithstanding the abundance of evidence of the harassment, of the lawlessness, of the corruption, of the bullying, the thuggery in the construction industry, notwithstanding the evidence of so many officials of the CFMEU before the courts, the evidence of the Hayden Royal Commission, the clear, obvious need for a tough regulator on the construction industry block, the Labor Party turns a blind eye to that mountain of evidence and says they will not support the restoration of the Building and Construction Commission. Let's talk about the
evidence which is on the table today from the Electoral Commission. It says the Free Enterprise Foundation was used by senior Liberals to channel and disguise hundreds of thousands of dollars from political donors, including banned property developers. Can you guarantee that Arthur Sinodinos did not know that banned donations were being funneled through the Free Enterprise Foundation to the Liberal Party?
Well, my understanding, Tony, is that Arthur Sinodinos has said that he was not aware and has done so at the ICAC hearings, which he was a witness some time ago.
Are you assured that these kind of practices are not going on? Because as it stands, the New South Wales Liberal Party will be taking donations for the federal election upcoming. Have you sought guarantees they won't be taking any donations from sources which are questionable?
Well, of course the Liberal Party should only take donations in accordance with the law, and they should disclose them in accordance with the law. The laws relating to donations are somewhat different, as between New South Wales, for example, and the federal jurisdiction. The disclosure limits are higher in the federal level, and there is no ban, for example, on property developers. So, for a federal campaign. So there are differences, and the laws are complex, and that's been a matter of some criticism in the past. The complexity, of course, is an issue for administrators, but nonetheless, the fact is the party must comply with the law. If the law has not been complied with, they should fess up, set all the facts out on the table, and let the cards fall where they may.
And if the law has not been complied with, and Arthur Sinodinos was the treasurer of the party in that period, should he go?
Well, I'm not going to get into a hypothetical situation there, Tony. The fact is...
Well, that wasn't particularly hypothetical.
Well, it is hypothetical because...
Not according to what the Electoral Commission is saying, because they've withheld $4.4 million in public funding from the New South Wales Liberals, as well as future funding. That future funding could affect, presumably, the federal election.
Well, Tony, it is interesting. It is interesting to note that we spent a few minutes talking about national security and the challenges faced by Europe in addressing or confronting Islamist extremism. And you're now devoting much of the interview to the administration of the New South Wales division of the Liberal Party in 2011.
No, I'm devoting some of the interview to talking about Arthur Sinodinos, who was the treasurer
I've told
of
you
the party at the time that these events took place. That's all.
Indeed. Okay.
All right, you've made your point.